June 30th, 2026, Tuesday. So, over the weekend, of course, I had to fix this uninformed mail fraud situation where my mail was illegally forwarded back in February. In January, I went to the USPS office on, I think it's 3rd or 4th Street, because I had to provide my current ID for the address where I moved to after my lease ended on Parsons. Easily done. I had already had my ID updated, my driver's license updated. So I went down there, completed the identity verification at this USPS location with the bar phone, to which I still have from back then. When I realized, of course, that I was not getting mail, it took a couple of weeks, and I'm like, okay, someone's stealing my mail again for the 3rd year in a row, stealing my mail, forwarding my mail, 3rd year in a row. I contacted the USPS office. I filed 2 complaints. I have the emails from when I filed those complaints online and the details regarding why my mail had been forwarded. It's due to fraud, due to my ex-husband, things I've never been through in my entire life. I am actually ultimately constantly going through because of Jaffa Abu Irbiha. Great, great. So, filed those complaints, waited to speak to someone, went to the office twice, nobody would speak to me, showed them my complaint number, nobody would speak to me. Oh, we can't give you any information. So I stopped getting mail at my address. When you have to actually pay for informed mail, it's $1.99 a month. So I have the emails of the complaints. I have the payment from when I made those payments for my informed mail to be delivered to my address and for me to be notified via my email. Still continuing on with the fraud. So when I went down there just now, because of course I had to do the same thing again with my same address, the same ID, the same thing I did back in February, back for January, February of this year. I go in there, show her the barcode, show her my ID. She scans it. She does the same little thing that the woman did almost 6 months ago in the same USPS office. Okay, so then I said, I need the information from when my mail was forwarded illegally because I'm going through identity fraud. I have already provided as much information as I can to the police. I've done everything that I'm supposed to do, still constantly filing police reports about people breaking and entering into my home. Still having my clothes stolen, having my jewelry stolen, so that they can work together as an organized crime group to continuously impersonate me. I'm 43 years old. I've not been through anything like this. It's easily trackable and traceable when you use my social security number, my name and my birthday to find out what is going on. Still not receiving any assistance, still not receiving any support from the legal authorities that I reached out to. I didn't go around telling everybody my business. The fraudsters did that. They spreaded rumors, lies, and gossip about me. I mean, this is so big. Whatever they have stolen and all the people that they got involved with, blocking me from getting the right information at the Franklin County Courthouse about the properties and things that Jaffa owned, that he obtained through my illegal immigration fraud marriage, did everything, hid everything behind my back, used family members that I'm not even a part of. They've never done anything really for me in my life, period. They did nothing but spread lies and ruin my character. Okay, if I've been struggling and I've been going through this stuff, where is it at? Where is the real proof? Not AI proof, not people in your group. I don't even know y'all. And like I said, Jaffa had no reason dealing with them Fleshmans. I never introduced them to him. The most I ever did, because he had Facebook, after we got to know each other, decided we were going to get married, is I used his Facebook and I went down my little estranged family tree as well as my current family's tree because he had Facebook. My nieces and nephews in Virginia, some of my siblings are on Facebook. He knew exactly who they were. We shared plenty of family information. So him getting involved with them is nothing but organized crime. Him helping them steal and obtain my documents is nothing but organized crime. And my family in Virginia helped them, which is really weird because before Jaffa even came to America, they already knew that I was no longer dealing with them Fleshmans from 2018 on up. There is no physical proof that I've been around them. No physical proof. I didn't communicate with them. I didn't know their phone numbers, their emails. I never met their baby daddies like that, especially since before 2017. Anything before, after 2017 is not valid. I don't deal with them. They are the ones that are stealing my information. They are the ones who are a part of gangs and was calling my jobs, calling places that I go to and spreading rumors and lies, including Taylor Livingston, because she didn't have nothing else better to do. I haven't seen that girl, barely talked to that girl. I didn't know her like that. She was going through bad times, and she got involved with Jaffa because me and Jaffa's marriage is on public record. And she was stalking me because two friends that I had that not necessarily was associating with her, but was dealing with somebody she was dealing with, because she was always dealing with multiple people from Facebook. It was just weird. The girl always had a bad rap. She never had a good reputation. She barely had her own child. She had no problem telling anybody this because she was always dealing with problems. She was always making stuff up. She always had people, anybody she would talk to, anybody on the street down there in South Columbus, she would just tell them all her business because she was always having a bad day, always wanting somebody to look out for her. She literally stalked me to the point where, like, she called my job in 2024, in October 2024, and the girl that works at the headquarter office sent me an email. Oh, this person left a message for you. I'm not bothered with that person. I barely know her. Why would I know somebody like that who ain't really had their life together? I met her over a couple of months of a period by coming to the same store only that I had been coming to since 2012. And she happened to just continue to go over there sometime, and I don't know, through the pandemic or something like that. She would be in there a couple of times when I would actually come in there and talk to my friend. I knew my friend for 10 years, over 10 years, before I even saw her constantly coming into the store to buy beer and get cigarettes on credit. I don't know that girl. Jaffa got involved with a bunch of people who came at him from a bunch of illegal scamming ethics. That ain't got nothing to do with me, other than the fact that they all stole my identity. They all lied about who I am. There's no physical proof that How much stuff have y'all, whatever y'all have made up, I just know I get bits and pieces of it because the gang stalkers break the chain. And then they brag about all the trauma and all the trouble that they caused so I can have issues. I'm going to still do what I want because I don't have anything to do with y'all, period. I have sought justice, sought justice, sought justice. I am a victim of these crimes, this fraud, this forgery, this real estate fraud. I don't know what they have in my name. I just know they shouldn't have in my name. It was textbook immigration fraud through marriage, textbook, all of it. And I, who have lived my life, never had a problem, never broke up people's marriages, didn't destroy anybody's property, didn't harm anybody's pets, can't even get an ounce of justice, but all this illegal representation is going on. So the lady at the post office today, when I said, what happened to my mail? Because I was clearly getting mail. I have emails of me getting mail sent to my new address. Obviously, I had informed mail, so they were sending me notifications when the mail would come through. She said, oh, you have to talk to the United States Postal Attorney General about it because I don't have any of your information in the system. How? When I have a financial record in my bank account of the transactions I made for informed mail and the emails from USPS, as well as my complaints. How? Y'all don't have anything? Everything is being destroyed. Everything is being hidden. Everything that I continue to do to protect myself is constantly being destroyed. But what you can't do is destroy my voice. You can't take down who I am because you never have. You were never there when I did certain things in my life. This is ridiculous. And it's really hot out here. I've been out since early this morning, but it's hot. Let me see if my food ready. Be right back. Yeah. All right. The amount of fraud that is continuously going on, the YouTube fraud, my algorithm in YouTube being stuck in some, you know, raggedy loop that they have my YouTube channel in. It's social media fraud. All of it is just fraud. Like I said, y'all have never been me. You can't be me. It doesn't matter how many people back you up and hype you up. You can't do it because there are many things that I've done in my life, milestones, regular things, and all of that that you are not fully aware of. Jaffa stole my business. The Fleshmans have been stealers and thieves their whole entire lives. Again, I never did anything wrong to my family in Virginia. My bank account, my phone records prove that. Now, and I've said this before, Jaffa did have access to my phone. He had access to the two phones that I did have. I've had my XR since 2020. I still have my XR now. And he had access to the older phone that I had, my iPhone 14, my little mini iPhone 14, because I had no problem sharing my password with him. There's nothing to hide. He also knew the password to my laptop that I've literally had since 2019 and still have it. I've had many devices that he had access to because I had no reason not to hide anything. And it's not like, you know, I was like, oh, here's my access. We had each other's locations on our phones, things like that. It was just normal. It was just normal. At least to me, I thought it was normal. Whatever happened, everything he's been able to hide and hold, and the elites backing him up to destroy my information like that. A person who's never had my information destroyed prior to this marriage, and whatever that fraud is going on at Franklin County Municipal Court since 2021 and 2020 that they have my information associated with, some taxation stuff. No matter what I tell them and talk to them, all they can do is let me know it's fraud. Everybody says, oh, it takes 700 days. It takes this, it takes that. And because there's fraud involved, we can only get so much information to you. It's my name. It's my name. And no, I still can't afford a lawyer. Nobody has been able to legally represent me. That doesn't mean my bills ain't paid, my car ain't taken care of, my pets ain't taken care of, and I'm not taken care of. That means I spend my money to do so. And I don't have a problem doing that. I've never had a problem doing that because I can take care of myself easily. I budget well. My consistency of living has been the same regardless. Everywhere I've lived, I've paid my bills. In 2010, I did file bankruptcy, and it was because I had about $15,000 to $17,000 in medical debt that had been from maybe 2002 or 2003, maybe 2004, a little bit of 2004. And back then, you could go to the emergency room for any reason, which I had like gas one day and it was like just bad overnight. It came from food poisoning. One of those bills was like $8,000, literally $8,000. So when 2010 came and I'm kind of looking at my credit report and I see these medical bills on here, I'm going, they're like, yeah, started talking to a debt repair person. You can take, 7 years and pay off this, $15,000. No, ma'am. Your girl makes $16, $18 an hour as a security officer. No, ma'am. No, ma'am, we're not doing that. That's the proof of the bankruptcy. And that was filed here in Columbus, Ohio with a good attorney. That's it. And which is a responsible portion of what Americans can do. Other than that, I had no reason to file bankruptcy, and I haven't since. I obviously won the bankruptcy, or however you want to call it. Everything was wiped away. Bills been paid. But no, there was no way I could pay $15,000 in medical debt over 7 or 8 years. Who has that to pay? No, ma'am. I have the right as an American to file bankruptcy. There's no irresponsibleness about that. The average American has about $10,000 in debt, especially maybe the average single American. If you have a family, it may be a lot more than that, which is normal as well too. My debts really don't exceed that. They continue to commit medical fraud. I've never had any issues with my health, not like that. I had Medicaid for 10 years. My dental records are on file. My blood work is on file. I used to donate blood to the American Red Cross because I'm O positive. My blood is universal. It can be used mostly for anybody. So why not? I have lived my life well. Yeah, I've made mistakes. I speed, got a lot of tickets. Doesn't make me a criminal. Y'all are criminals. And everybody in this country chose to literally back up a foreigner because he had the pull and the people he worked with had the strings. I've never had that in my life. If I had people pulling strings for me my 20-year career, and I've worked in property management for 10 years, why doesn't it show? What shows is the work that I've done, the person that I have been. All of this fraud committed by the Franklin County Municipal Courthouse, holding back emails, holding back mail that I should have received regarding the case so I could continue to have a stronger outcome in the divorce hearing. It didn't matter. It did not matter. The judge was already biased. When I went to divorce court on October 10th, and we spoke heavily again about the racism, about the stealing of this money and things like that that I could know about through gang stalking and them running around bragging about it, I told the judge that's not noble. Well, I already went to immigration fraud yesterday on October 9th. I sat in the Immigration Fraud Bureau office for 30 to 40 minutes before I was seen. It's a camera. I had to check myself in. I was there. The judge said, well, what did you do about it? I went to the immigration office and I'm going to file a police report tomorrow. And I did those things. October 11th, I filed my police report. I did share that information with somebody that was close to me I was talking to at the time. That was friends, nothing else. And when October 14th came, I came and went back to that same courthouse and got a protection order. The same judge that's not noble terminated my protection order against Chafa because that wouldn't have worked out for all the fraud and scheming and scamming they were all involved in. This organized crime has nothing to do with me. I can provide any date and time everywhere I've been. I swipe my card everywhere I go. It's been the same way for 15 years because most of the time I am alone. When you swipe your debit card and credit card, it shows proof you were at this location. I've traveled to the same places since 2013. I've traveled to my hometown from 2001 literally to 2024 because I'm not going back to Lynchburg. I have no reason to when I found out that they were involved in the fraud and the scamming they was doing. Literally, the gang stalkers were also running around last year talking about how not only did my family stab me in the back, they was laughing and talking crap about them in Virginia. What a shame. What a shame. But I'll continue to be real because I don't care what truth y'all have. I am real. You can't take that. It's nothing you can do about it. You can lie about what I did today and lie about and lie about and lie about. You have no, I gave no permission for anyone to illegally surveillance me in my home on Collingwood, Parsons Avenue, or my current apartment, but it's still happening. Why would I do that? I've worked in property management for 10 years. The shirts that I wear have the logo of the property that I am working at, either the property or the company name. So I would want thousands of strangers to know where I'm working at. Why? Who in their mind would want that? I want my phone to be mirrored. That's what y'all did. I had nothing to do with that. I had software in my phone that shows where my residents were living at, their full names, their phone numbers, their emails. I had Microsoft Outlook on my phone as an assistant manager and as a community manager that shows specific information that should have remained private to the company. But these organized crime groups, because they are working behind the scenes with the elites and up front with the elites to commit all this tax fraud and all this fraud and forgery and real estate fraud and everything else, is the reason why I was ignored and why I continue to be ignored. It's the reason why my phone is still mirrored and I don't answer the phone. I don't communicate with you guys. Any technology that y'all are using to show I communicate with y'all, it's false. I have no friends. Now, I married two people in my life. 2005, 2006, and in 2023. That is it. I married no one else. I have been proposed to, never got engaged, turned those marriages down throughout these years. Nothing has changed with my life because I make my own decisions. That doesn't mean I wasn't loved by my friends that I had for 15, 20 years. I was loved by them. They had no reason to. I didn't do anything to buy their love. I didn't do anything to buy Jaffa's love. I had nothing to give him. Jaffa came across privy information, more than likely he had nothing to do with, because it didn't come from me. And proof is, when I went and I did my immigration interview for the marriage, I submitted the bank statements that I had, which was Chase Bank and PNC Bank, because that's all I had. The income I had came from my job only. That's it. And a settlement check in 2022. So there's no other proof, but there is proof that everything I've done is right. Proof everywhere of where I went and what I've done. And like I said, I have plenty of pictures that go back, and go back to show anywhere I've been, anything that I've done. This is ridiculous that the post office lady said, oh, well, we don't have that information. It's not on record. You can't tell me where my mail was forwarded to. Where you were obviously set up in place. Again, the fraud continues on. So I'll continue to report what's next, whatever it is that they're doing, because again, I'm not a part of it. They do it in the background. There ain't nothing, they leave physical trails. They leave physical trails that can easily be, by a phone call, an email made by the elites who can pull these strings. Now look at who I work for, and you understand who can pull these strings across the whole city. Who can have my name set up in multiple states and multiple bank accounts? Who has that power? Take a look at my employment record. They stole commissions from me. They literally had no reason to do it. They did it because they could. And they've done it to more people than just me, stealing the identity, crashing people's lives and stuff like that. It is heavily insane. But anyway, it's hot out here and I gotta eat my food. I just had to get on there and talk about the experience I had. And yes, YouTube, you are a part of it. Your workers that are holding on to these algorithms to push certain things in people's feeds, including mine, y'all are part of it too. What a shameful situation. But anyway, this is how I'm going to end June, the same way I started it. Y'all are pathetic. I have no mental health issues. I have no physical diseases. All my life, maybe since 14 to 16 years old, I've dealt with hypoglycemia. That is it. And that is the only reason I was approved for Medicaid back in 2015. I had severe hypoglycemia. I still do, because I can't keep food in my home, and that's cool, because it's poison left and right. If I leave my home, even if I leave my home for a couple of hours, they send the gang stalkers to break in there, do things to destroy my stuff. The amount of nasty things that they did to my food on Parsons, and that they bragged about that they did on Collingwood Avenue, is ridiculous. Ridiculous. The amount of nasty things that they bragged about that they did to my belongings. What a shame. And then I married Jaffa out of love, trust, and honesty. And he just jumped right into the group because that's who he was. He was nothing but a thief and a deceiver. He was a liar, but he had the strings in the community to back him up. Even my employer, like, they wouldn't have known him without me. But y'all choose to back up Jaffa and his group, his community, the illegal, unethical immigration attorney and Jaffa's divorce attorney, the most unethical people in the world. But they got a group behind them, and it don't matter if it's 1,000 of y'all. It don't matter what you do. I don't care what you own, what business you got. You shouldn't have came across my path. And the fact that you did out of dishonesty, crazy fools working with $2 thugs, $3 thoughts, is ridiculous. Leroy Madden, you're ridiculous too, sending Alexis and her family down in South Columbus to invade my life and my privacy because you're somewhere sitting somewhere jelly as an ex. You and I were friends since 2012. Literally friends. And because you got all these baby mamas and you got to do a whole bunch of other stuff so that you can make money and hide the fraud you were doing, is ridiculous. I was fraudulently terminated, and I did sue in 2018. There's conditions that come with that because I lived on property. I lived on that property for a couple of years before I even worked there. So when you lose your job and it was wrongful termination, and like I said, I stood up for myself and I got what I needed done, 100% I did. I did contact Leroy and I said, hey, this is what's going on. I definitely have to move. I moved with him in Bush Court. Not Bush Court, I used his business as my address, but I moved with him in Bill Kenyon. I stayed with him for maybe 8 or 9 months before I moved to Collingwood. I have an ID that proves that. I also called the police twice over there too during arguments that we had. That should be on record. But out of jealousy, because you upset that I got married, you sick your baby mamas, your baby mamas. And then they talk about how they have access to information regarding other people and their families. I don't know if it's through a call center, you know, how it was kind of explained to me through one of the people in South Columbus. But Leroy's baby mama got some access to people's records, people's family records and all of that stuff. She was bragging about how she was breaking up families and getting money from the government for it. She privileged because she white. Doesn't mean I'm racist just because she is. I could care less. She caused problems with my car, and that's how I ended up with this Beamer for $4,500. Shoot, he stabbed his own back in a friend when he got this car. It is what it is. I mean, this is ridiculous how all this backstabbing paid off for the ones who are thieves, criminals, people who committed attempted murder on my life multiple times, drive-bys in the Mercedes and all of that. I mean, the weakness of it all is the reason why I can speak to y'all about this. The gang stalking of it all. And it's been going on for so long, so long, so long. There's no proof I did anything to y'all. Y'all just got away with everything, and y'all continuously get away with everything. You continuously steal my identity. And I have to continuously make repetitive steps to protect my identity, because there ain't nobody this group won't pay. I mean, couple $1,000 to make some mistake, to cover up some lies, to do whatever. It ain't no record or no me nowhere going to talk to nobody about mental health issues, physical issues, or anything like that other than what I have said. Where's the proof? Why isn't it presented to me? You can't say anything to my face. You steal my mail, you block all the information from coming through for me the way it's supposed to, and you've done it year after year after year, and I'm the one who can't get legal support. That's cool, because it's gonna cost me $2,350 to end this citizenship. You think I'm not gonna do it? I'm gonna continue to be the realest y'all ever seen. Think I'm playing? You think I'm gonna sit up here and continue to have my name trashed and y'all funnel money in the background, and then next year y'all do the same thing with the taxes because y'all can help, y'all got the help of the elites, y'all can file taxes in my name and stuff like that, when I literally have done it myself for 20 years through the IRS directly or through freetaxusa.com. There shouldn't be no other taxes in my name besides what I filed through Free Tax USA myself for my jobs. Illegal surveillance in my house 24/7. I would never give up my privacy this way. There ain't a dollar and a dime I'm looking for. My bank accounts are proof of that. But they keep going. And like I said, I'm the only Jessica Lynette Scott that was born May 9th, 1983 in Lynchburg, Virginia. And I was my mother's 4th child, her 2nd daughter, my dad's 2nd daughter, his 2nd child. The amount of fraud and forgery, it is what it is. I've done everything that I can about it, so all I can do is just continue to go live, talk about who I am, and I don't care. You can laugh, you can joke, you can AI make these videos, you can do whatever you need to do, because I can't control that. I'm not a fraudulent person. I'm not here scheming and scamming and romance scamming people. When have I ever done that? There's no proof. I had a consistency of the people I knew, the things that I did with the people that I knew, and I never had any issues with them. Where's the proof? And like I said, I ain't never been arrested, and I'm not going to be. So with that being said, I gotta go because it's 11:35. I gotta go and I gotta eat this food. It's hot though. It's gonna stay hot because it's hot out here in Columbus, Ohio. Anyway, gotta go.